oh, this was too good for me to resist. I mix what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like. Hey, what's up, world? I mix what I like. Jared Ball. I mix what I like. Support the platform, like, share, subscribe, do all the things. So I couldn't resist because as I continue to pay attention a little bit to the cryptoganda being pushed and some of what's going on in that space, and obviously as I follow CoffeeZilla, who is the leading investigative journalist in these spaces, who has just uncovered something else. Now, for him and for the world, it's a much bigger, of course, meaningful story. This dude, Hayden Davis, is one of the, I think, 4 founders of this Libra coin that was supposed to help and initiated some relationship with the president of Argentina, with the promise, of course, as has been said in El Salvador with the failed project, as has been said in cities even like Miami, never went anywhere, that somehow crypto was going to do something and be innovative. And it is, of course, collapsed. It's been suggested even that the president of Argentina is involved in a rug pull, getting people to invest, then, of course, selling everything. They get into discussions of snipers and sniping. That is, the people who come in and, they buy and sell at the exact right moment to extract the most value out of all of this. The point being that it's all a hustle. It's all a con. So I'm going to play 2 relatively short clips of this much longer interview with Hayden Davis and CoffeeZilla. The link's in the show description. I really encourage you to check it out. But obviously for me, since it becomes an I told you so, as I said, I can't resist. So let's check out these clips.
I would love just at least, right, if this is going to be recorded and go live and whatever, that to be a thought. Because nobody, the best
this is
people
Hayden
in crypto,
Davis
don't have an
talking
answer.
to CoffeeZilla.
They don't. Nobody has an answer for it. And I'm constantly trying to figure out, okay, what should we do? How should we make money cleanly? Is it even possible?
Fundamentally, hold on. Fundamentally, I think people in crypto don't have a good answer, because the real answer nobody wants to hear, which is that you're sort of like, what's the fair way to make a bunch of money selling like tulip bulbs or something like that? It's like, you can structure it a lot of different ways, but anything that is by definition value extracting from the world at large is probably not a great thing. So I think people in crypto don't want to hear that.
But then every crypto project, whether they're VC funded or it's a meme coin, is value extracted.
Okay, wait, hang on. I think there's a difference between something that it's a word that gets overused, but utility.
Please note that this point, that one of the ongoing claims, even in my own debates around this, has been that there is a utility, and it's not a speculative asset just to invest in and hope that someone else is willing to pay more for it than you did. But it's not. And
it does something, okay. A tool that purports to do something, and then things that literally have no intrinsic value at all, right?
But it's still value extraction. It doesn't matter if it has utility.
Not necessarily. I mean, not necessarily. Like take for example the company Coca-Cola, right? Coca-Cola, you could say, well, they're making a lot of money for their shareholders, right? But they also, one, provide a good. I mean, you could quibble about that, but like, they provide a service people will pay money for, and they provide something. Then in addition, they provide dividends to shareholders. So their shareholders, regardless, shareholder could buy in for $1 and leave with $1, but they've made the dividends, right? So it's not a zero-sum game. Coca-Cola is not running a zero-sum game. Apple is not running a zero-sum game. These companies that are in the capital markets are not running zero-sum games. They're producing things. That is what the value is based on. Crypto, the idea was that yes, it's a little speculative at first, but the reason you should care about this is because there's something that is valuable behind it. There's some kind of financial technology behind it. I think that's the overall pitch. Now, but people will argue to...
Message!
There's
well,
not.
That's...
I mean... There's not. Look at any crypto asset, right? Like even Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin is literally valuable because a shitload of people said it's valuable, and because it quote unquote isn't controlled by anybody that we know of.
And again, if you watch this whole video, this dude Hayden Davis, like, he's again to my previous points about the white supremacy baked in to the politics of crypto and blockchain, the so-called libertarianism. This dude is all about, he later calls CoffeeZilla, he's a good Christian guy. He's talking about how he doesn't want government involved. You're going to see in the next clip the contradiction there, but that's so this idea that gets cryptogandized into Black liberationist and other revolutionary messaging is part of, well, just that, the propaganda. It's meant to mask the fascism and techno-feudalism inherent in
Extractive to some
politically in all
degree
of
or
this.
a zero-sum game. None of it has value.
Message.
So it's like whether it's a fucking meme coin or it's a giant utility project, it all is dog shit.
It's all dog shit. All right, so that's the first clip. Let me move on to which was another beautiful reveal.
Coin bonds, people put money in. Insiders know about it first. It rips up, and it's who loses last. That's how it's a game. Every single one of these is a game. There's none of them that aren't games. The only ones that aren't games are ones that have completely died, and a tiny group of people decide to CTO them. So whether it's Trump, Melania, Libra, Fwog.
And if you listen, he's in. I almost forgot that part. He talks briefly with CoffeeZilla here about how he was involved with the Trump and Melania coins that have just made a handful of these, what they call snipers, the people who know how to buy and sell at the exact right moment to extract the most value, who are walking away with tens of millions of dollars from these rug pulled investment schemes. He was involved with that. But he defends that. He defends his involvement in that. And is only lamenting because his life is apparently being threatened for this rug pull that has involved the president of Argentina. So you've got presidents here and elsewhere involved at the highest levels of this con game. But as he says, it's all fraudulent. And then he ends up snitching on the whole system here in a second. The whole
And what other huge ones are there? I mean, you could just keep naming them. All of these are a game. And so from a retail perspective, I highly encourage people, unless they have, like, if you have 100 grand, go spend 10 and play the game if you want to do that. But it's not a good idea.
And by retail, he's talking about the retail investors, the little guy, the little person, the people who, like in the Black community, who are targeted with the promise that this is going to help free you. That's who he's talking about. And even there, he's saying, yeah, if you have 100 grand and you can throw 10 at it to basically gamble, go ahead, but it's not a good idea. He's saying it's not a good idea. This is, again, this is the social media equivalent of the owners of social media platforms saying that they don't even let their children use it while promoting it to, of course, the rest of us. He's doing the same thing here, telling you it's not a good idea. You're going to get got if you're just a regular little investor. And by that, he means people with just 100 grand to invest. So I don't even...
It's like going to the casino, which is like that's the game. My game is, I thought that some of these meme coins would turn into utility and would turn into like giant cross.
And look, that's what CoffeeZilla is saying. How did you think
utility.
that? That's why he's saying, like, and before he starts the interview, Zilla says, look, I tried to I didn't want to go at this guy. I just wanted to listen to him. This is, I just wanted to let him talk in this interview. So you see him here not trying to engage, but he's asking, how did you think that this was going to actually turn into something that has real utility? How are you now claiming that you're not out here just ripping people off, and you're actually trying to provide value and only accidentally finding yourself in a situation where hundreds of millions of dollars are disappearing. And he's sitting on 100 million, by the way. That's another part of the story. You can watch the whole interview for that. He's sitting on $100 million and he's saying he's keeping it because that's what's keeping him, giving him leverage from the people threatening his life. Zilla is saying you should work it out so you're putting it in some sort of observable, protected bank-led trust or whatever so that you can get it out of your hand. But he's like, no, I don't want to do that. But then, but you're claiming, so you're sitting on 100 million, ripping people off, having ripped off a whole bunch of people, and now trying to still claim that you thought that there was some utility that was going to be evolved out of all of this, despite the fact that you just got finished saying it's all a scam. It's crazy.
It's crazy, but it's a game. It's an unregulated game. Our fucking president launched a meme coin 2 days before he came into office. I'm very pro getting everything away from regulated markets, but I'm now recognize, because I think that that's another game. I think that's an insider game, right? Whether if it's the Pelosi's of the world or the stock game, that's an insider game too. It's just a different type. And people have to be more careful. But capital markets are an insider game. The whole thing is like, nobody's ever going to convince me that it's not rigged.
Message.
Like, I could keep going on with bullshit after bullshit after bullshit. I think if you're going to die on the sword of meme coins being, insider this or sniping that, like, you're full of shit. Because there's every market in the world is like that makes a shitload of money.
Well, yeah, I just want to put a note in that. If your argument for capital markets is, they are rigged, that's actually an argument for more regulation against rigging than it is for less. Like, you wouldn't look at a rigged game and go, hey guys, let's take away all the rules we had in place anyway to try to stop it getting rigged, right?
Yeah, but then you have to trust. Then you have to trust the regulators, and most of them are being paid off, and that's been proven time and time forever because humans are flawed,
but once again, the conclusion to like seeing problems in the world is not like you realize like your brakes aren't working correctly. It's not to go like, hey, the brake manufacturers paid off, so let's just not have brakes at all. It's methodically approaching it and going, okay, we need to advocate for more regulation here. We need to advocate for more rules here.
It does make sense because what the logic, if you continue on with what Zilla is saying, is socialism, scientific socialism, a planned economy, regulated, managed so that there is no exploitation, there is no poverty, there is no. But as you said, but as you hear there, that's the whole Peter Thielian logic behind all of this. No regulation, no government oversight other than creating a society protected by a military and some rules and laws that protect the ruling elite and allow for them to do what they want to do and extracting all the wealth and value from the rest of us that they can. That's all they want. And then the only reason he's having any conflict at all is because he's been caught in a rug pull, allegedly, as it looks like. I don't know, maybe, but that's what some are that's why he's on here trying to defend his honor and his innocence while sitting on $100 million of other people's money after having promised them that if you invest in our coin, we're going to turn this into some sort of value utility project. And then this idea that when there is financial crime or exploitation, that the response should be less regulation, less oversight. You see the collapse of the logic. You can see it happening right there. And Zilla is calling it out as someone who is not some revolutionary leftist, at least overtly, who says he defends and wants to protect the proper functioning of a free market to the extent that that's even possible. But you see right there that the logic doesn't compute. It doesn't work.
The fuck is he talking about?
There must be regulation. Otherwise, this is exactly what happens. And then most importantly, as I continue to argue, it is cryptoganda to argue that investment in cryptocurrency, blockchain, or any asset or technology is going to solve the very political problem of organizing the redistribution or the definition of wealth and then its redistribution so that nobody is exploited. And if you watch the great show done with Josh and Dwayne Omawale on Black Liberation Media regarding Walter Rodney, you'll see a beautiful discussion of how we need to appreciate the fact that all of what we enjoy in society is the product of society. There are no individual geniuses and experts who single-handedly lead us into some better world. Everybody has been contributing and everybody needs to benefit. And that's been my point in the very microcosmic area of consumption. Consumers produce wealth through their consumption and should be rewarded and not punished and not demeaned as being lesser than the so-called owners. Most importantly, I'm right again. I rest my case. Peace if you're willing to fight for it, as Fred Hampton used to say, and I'll catch you next time around here at I mix what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like.